Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am so excited about today's video because I am sitting down to share with you guys my monthly favorites for the month of September. Now it has been a while since I have filmed a favorites video, so I've got quite a few things to get through today, so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So we're going to get things started with kind of some complexion and face products, and the first thing that I want to share is relatively new to me. I've only had this for about 2 weeks, but this was one of those things, it was kind of like love at first use. I just instantly fell in love with this, and it is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. Now I've heard a lot of really positive things about this foundation. I don't know why it took me so long to jump in and try this, but I did recently see this in my Walmart as I was grocery shopping, and I decided to pick it up, and I am so happy that I did. So I have it in the shade Nude L3. I was a little bit worried when I first got this, so as soon as I got into my car, I kind of pumped a little bit of this on the back of my hand just to see if the color looked somewhat accurate, because you guys know how it goes. So often with drugstore foundations, it is so hard to know which shade to pick. And when I first rubbed it into my skin, it seemed like it was oxidizing just a little bit. So I was like, dang it, this is not gonna work for me. But for some reason, when I got home and had a chance to try this, it worked perfectly on my skin. I felt like the shade was so perfect, and more than anything, what I love about this foundation is the finish. If you like a good medium coverage foundation, if you have dry skin and you like your skin to look luminous, I think this would be a perfect foundation for you. It does all of those things for my very dry skin, and I don't find that it emphasizes any texture on my skin, which is what I was most worried about. I just can't stop using this. I have used it pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks, and I think it is such a great drugstore foundation. So I have one other product here from Flower Beauty, so let's go ahead and talk about that one really quickly, and it is one of their Flower Pots blushes. This one is in the shade Warm Hibiscus. Now I think I picked this up kind of on a whim because I had heard, I think it might have been Jamie Page talking about this blush, and I'm so glad that I grabbed this because it reminded me of what a pink and a glowy blush really does for my cheeks. For a while I have been kind of stuck in this very sort of bronzy kind of blush or peachy toned blush, which don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that look, but I have not reached for a pink for quite a while. And what I noticed with this blush in particular is it just gives such a healthy, youthful kind of glow to the cheeks. I just think there's something about a pink blush on the cheeks that looks very healthy and youthful, and I absolutely love this one. I think it has the perfect amount of sheen to it. It's definitely not shimmery to where it would emphasize any sort of texture on your cheeks, but I love this. I've really been enjoying reaching for this one. I find that I reach for this one quite often above so many of my other blushes, and particularly above all my other peach blushes that I've been loving so much lately. Okay, so back to complexion. I wanted to mention this. This is something I've actually been using for a while, and there's a part of me that thinks I may have mentioned this either in another video or in a favorites video, but it is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. Now I have it in 2 shades. I have the shades Light 20 and Fair 5. Now I think when I went to order these concealers, they didn't quite have the shade that I was really looking to go for, so I ended up going for one shade that was a little bit darker than what I was hoping and one that was a little bit lighter than what I was intending to get. And I'm actually really happy that I did that because I feel like this gives me so many options and a lot of versatility with my concealer. This shade right here, which is Light number 20, this is the darker of the two. It is a little bit darker than what I typically put underneath my eyes, and it actually matches my skin tone perfectly. It blends in perfectly with the color of pretty much any foundation that I use, and I find that that works so much better to conceal any sort of spots that I have on my face. I know this is probably not news to anybody. I'm sure a lot of you out there often do that with concealer and know that you shouldn't put a light shade of concealer onto your blemishes or onto like the outer perimeter of your face, but for some reason I just have not been doing that, and I find that that's made such a big difference in just my base and getting everything to look flawless. Another thing I just really love about this concealer formula is it has really great coverage, but it's not super drying. So many concealers that have good coverage, like the Tarte Shape Tape, I find to be too drying, especially for underneath my eyes. Now I have very dry under eyes, I have a lot of fine lines under there, and so many concealers that I try end up making that whole situation under there just look a lot worse. And this one definitely doesn't do that. It really makes my under eye area look so much better, and it doesn't dry anything out, which I absolutely love. Okay, one other face product that I have really been loving is this Liquid Illuminator by Makeup Revolution. This one's in the color Champagne. Now I've had this in my collection. I think I got it back in like January or February, and for quite a few months I just didn't really, I was having trouble getting this to work for me. I think initially I tried to go in with a sponge, and I found that it just didn't really put any of the product down, like it didn't really do much for me. Then I tried putting it on the back of my hand and going in with a brush, and it just wasn't working. So I kind of just shoved this in the back of my drawer and just didn't grab it for a while. But lately I have discovered that this is a really great product if you know how to use it right. So the trick to get this to work really great as a highlighter is to use your fingers. So what I do to get this to work for me is I'll just put a little bit on the back of my hand, and instead of going in with a brush or with a sponge, I actually just take my pointer finger and I'll kind of tap it on the back there, and then I go right on top of my cheekbone area here, and I just spend a good like 30 seconds tapping it into my skin and kind of blending it slightly outwards, and I just find that that gives such a beautiful natural sheen to your cheeks. It looks so healthy and natural. I mean, it's definitely still glowy. I wouldn't say that this is like a subtle highlight, but it definitely is very natural looking. It almost just looks like you're just sweaty, but in a good way. That's a terrible description, but it really looks beautiful. If you are someone especially that has a lot of texture in this area or a lot of fine lines, I think you would love something like this because it definitely does not emphasize texture. I have a lot of highlights in my collection that I absolutely love, but even some of the ones that I love really can emphasize texture if I'm not careful or particular with the way I apply them, but this absolutely does not do that, especially when I use it in that way. Alright, let's move into a couple of eye products that I have, and the first one is probably no surprise to you guys if you've been watching my videos. It is the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is such a great palette. I think this was such a perfect buy for me because this is a great addition to my very generally neutral eyeshadow collection. Again, I typically gravitate towards very neutral eyeshadow palettes, and this one is just a little bit more fun. Most of the looks that I create with this are still pretty neutral, but I love even just going in with some of these pops of color on my lower lash line or just buffed a tiny bit into the crease, and I feel like they just add a little something different to my eye look that just is so fun. I just love this. I think the quality is fantastic. I really haven't found a shade in here that I dislike. I don't know. I really don't know what else to say about it. I know you guys have probably heard about this all over the place, but I think if you like neutral eyeshadows and you like to kind of dip your toes into color, that is who this palette I think is made for. So the next favorite I have to mention, I've actually brought this up before in a favorites video, I think back in the early spring, and it is the Essence Volume Stylist 18-Hour Mascara. I love this mascara. I will say it's definitely a drier formula, so it's one that can get a little bit clumpy, but as long as you make sure you have a spoolie on hand when you're applying this, just to make sure if any clumps start to happen, you can comb them right out. This gives you the most amazing volume and length. I feel like when I wear this mascara, it makes it look like I have double the number of eyelashes I have when I use other mascaras. Now I have relatively long eyelashes, but so many mascaras make me feel like I have like 12 lashes that just happen to be kind of long, but this makes me feel like I have like 100 lashes, and they just look amazing and fluffy, and they're super long. I really love this. I think if you can handle a slightly drier formula and are willing to deal with a little bit of clumpiness, I mean, definitely give this a try. It's like $4.99 at Ulta or at Target. I just think this is such a good mascara. I know Essence makes a lot of good mascaras. I also love their Lash Princess, but I do think this one right now tops any of my other drugstore mascaras. Next little eye product sort of tool that I want to share with you guys is this brush trio from Alamar Cosmetics. Now I got this in BoxyCharm, I think during the month, was it in September's box? I think it was September's box. I think this is such a great little brush trio. This, I think, if you are someone that's pretty basic and doesn't do very elaborate things with your eye makeup, you could get your entire eye makeup look done with these three brushes. This blending brush is perfect. It's not too small, but it's not too big, so I feel like it would work for a lot of different eye shapes. It's super soft, and it really does a great job of blending out color into your crease. Then this brush right here is kind of like a little concealer brush. You could use this for a lot of different things. It works great for packing color onto the lid, especially like a shimmery type of eyeshadow. This works so well. I feel like it really makes the shimmer eyeshadows I use on my lids stand out a little bit more than some of the other brushes that I might typically use. But this would also work great if you are someone that likes to do like a cut crease. I don't do that very often, but it definitely would work for that because it is that perfect shape and perfect size. I think it's such a great brush. And then lastly, this little guy. This is just a flat liner brush. I don't typically like these brushes very much, but there's something about this one that's a little bit different than my other ones. This one works really well, not just for eyeliner or applying maybe a gel liner or even a powder liner to your lash line. It works really great for putting color on your lower lash line. Okay, so one more eye product. This I've had for a couple of weeks. It is the e.l.f. I keep forgetting to look up the name of this. It's their clear brow wax stick. I'm sure that's not what it's called, but it's basically a little pencil of like clear wax that you just basically use to set your eyebrows in place. I will typically go in with either an eyebrow pencil or a pomade and kind of fill in my brows, and then I use this to kind of set them in place, and it just makes such an easy brow setter. I definitely think if you have really unruly brows, this probably would not be the best at getting them to like stay in place all day long. But if your brows are relatively well behaved, I think this would work really well for you. The thing I love the most about this, besides the fact that it's only like $2, is that it really gives my eyebrows texture. Like, it gives them a little bit of fluffiness, but it's also not like hard or sticky. I can't explain it. I definitely just think you need to try it. It's a really great product. I've never heard anybody talk about this before. Alright guys, we are getting close to the end. I have a couple more things to share, and one of those is a liquid lipstick by Dose of Colors. I got this during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, and I am absolutely in love, particularly with this shade, which is the shade Truffle. This is such a beautiful liquid lipstick. Now, for so long, liquid lipsticks are something that I kind of was convinced that just would not work for me, because I have such dry lips and I find so many of them just make my lips feel and look terrible. I mean, I absolutely have just not liked so many that I have tried, but this is one of the formulas that I think is an exception. It definitely dries down and is very long wearing, but it just doesn't feel dry on my lips. I just really love this formula. It really works for my lips. I think this color in particular is the most perfect nude shade. If you like a nude that's a little bit of pink and a little bit of peach and it's not overly light, I think this is a perfect nude lip. This really is like my lips, but a tiny bit deeper and just better looking. It just gives my lips the most perfect color. I really, really love this. And I do have to mention as well, I'm a sucker for good packaging, and this definitely has really good packaging. So one more thing for the lips I have been loving for about 3 months now, and it's the Milani Keep It Full lip gloss in the shade Champagne. Guys, this is such a good lip gloss. I love a good lip gloss, and this is probably one of the best drugstore lip glosses I have ever tried. I absolutely love the formula of this. I just think it's so great. It has the perfect amount of opacity. It's not too opaque, but it's not too sheer. I'm going to apply just a little bit on top of my liquid lips so you guys can see. It's so pretty. It has such a pretty sheen to it. It has the perfect like minty smell. I have always thought Milani's lip glosses were awesome. I've tried so many of them over the years, and they always smell so good. And this one has kind of that, it's like a sweet kind of mint. It reminds me of the smell of like mint chocolate chip ice cream, minus the chocolate, maybe. It's just a little bit more minty, but it's definitely very sweet. It just looks so good on the lips. It feels really nice on the lips, and I think for a gloss it does last pretty well. So the last two things I want to share with you guys are not makeup related, but I have been loving these so much I really wanted to mention them. The first is a kale polish, and this one specifically is in the color Peanut Butter. Now I have to say, I have not typically been someone that pays a lot of attention to their nails. I've never been one to like get manicures, but I also have this nail biting habit that will go away for a couple of years and kind of like make its ugly appearance again. And lately I have noticed it kind of rearing its ugly head again. I've been struggling lately to not take my stress out on my fingernails, and the only thing that I find that really stops me from doing that is making sure that my nails are taken care of and specifically painted. If I can keep my nails painted, I will not bite them. So kind of to motivate myself to take better care of my nails and keep them painted, I went ahead and ordered the KL Polish Fall line because I really have been loving the swatches of the colors in that line. And I do love pretty much every color in that line. I think they are all so beautiful, but this one surprised me. This one has been probably my very favorite one. I have been keeping this one on my nails for the last couple of weeks almost constantly. I just love this color. I really thought when I very first applied it, I kind of was like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't sure that it looked very good on me, but I have just fallen in love with it. I think it's such a beautiful fall color. It's not very bright or in your face, but it's so unique. I have never seen a nail polish color like this. And I have to say, of the KL Polish line in general, I absolutely love these. I have never been able to apply nail polish to my nails as quickly as I can with this one. I think it's partly because of the formula and partly because of the ginormous brush. I can put nail polish on all 10 of my fingernails in like 30 seconds. That's unheard of for me. I am usually someone that is terrible at putting nail polish on, but this has such a great formula. It dries really, really fast, so by the time I've gone through like this hand and then this hand, I'm already ready for my second coat. I really can get this on my nails really quickly, and because it dries so quickly, that's a huge game changer for me, because my problem with painting my nails is that I never have enough time to really let my nail polish dry. So I usually will give it a good 5 or 10 minutes, and then I have to go do things, and I end up getting the little dents and the little scrapes, and they just end up looking terrible, and then I'm just frustrated that I spent that like 30 minutes painting my nails. This absolutely does not do that to me. It's the only nail polish I've ever found that doesn't do that to me, and it actually lasts on my fingernails for days. Honestly, guys, I can't say enough good things about this. I just am in love with this nail polish formula. So if you are someone that is into nail polish, I definitely recommend this nail polish line and brand, because they really are superior to any other nail polish I've ever tried. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention is a hair product, and this is a conditioner that I actually got at Sally Beauty Supply. This is from the brand Hair Chemist, and it's their charcoal with citrus oil. This one is just their detoxifying conditioner. It's definitely a lot more lightweight, but I love this as just like an everyday kind of conditioner. It doesn't weigh my hair down, which is something that I've really been struggling with lately. My hair is naturally curly. If you've watched my other videos, you've probably seen that I have natural curl, well, more like wave right now in my hair. And because my waves have relaxed so much since my last pregnancy, I find that a lot of conditioners just weigh my curls down, and it's hard to find a conditioner that's going to condition my very dry hair but not weigh it down. And I feel like this is one that absolutely does that. So I've been using this like crazy. I love the smell of it. It has that really nice clean smell. It's not like a fragrancy smell. It's definitely fragrant, but it's more of like a very yummy clean smell than like a yummy floral or like sweet smell. Does that make sense? I just love this. I think it smells so good. It works so well on my hair. I used it on my hair before I straightened it, and it still gave my hair plenty of hydration. I definitely recommend checking this out if you're looking for a good everyday conditioner. And also their hair mask, by the way, is also super, super awesome. So if you're looking for a good hair mask, definitely check out this line from Sally's. And that completes my monthly favorites. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys have been loving for the last month or the last couple of months. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Or let me know if you've tried any of these products and what you thought of them. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel today. I hope that you guys have a fantastic day. I hope that you will subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.